I guess, from an agency perspective, we obviously spend a lot of time thinking about consumer behavior and how it relates to brands, and sort of the chicken or the egg question, is it really latent behavior that's been sitting around for decades? Do consumers really want to watch 30 seconds of Fred's life? Do they really need to have 52 screens and be able to Twitter about what they had for lunch to all of their friends? Or is it that technology is actually driving that behavior change and consumers now are creating new behaviors because of the outlets that they have? From where each of you sit, you have a massive amount of consumer engagement and behavior data. Is there anything that you see from an insight or type of data perspective that either agencies or brand marketers aren't fully utilizing or tap into yet? I'll turn it to Avner.
Well, from where we're sitting, a lot of the content that is being used in Boxee, it's long-form content, TV shows and movies, about 3.5 to 4 times more TV shows than movies, and most of them are streamed online, whether it's Hulu or CBS or Comedy Central. Just talking to this room, I mean, that's a very frustrating experience. You get less ads, but you get sometimes the same ad playing again and again, and I think that's unfortunate. That happens when advertisers are lazy in taking advantage of the inventory. But also, there's no real innovation around the fact that people are watching those shows in a connected experience. So I don't think people want to do a lot of interaction, maybe, definitely with the ads when they're in the middle of content, but you can do more stuff, collect more feedback from users, whether they like ads, don't like ads, act on it, stuff like that is missing. And I think also from an advertiser's perspective, I think content owners, and that's on the content owner's side, they need to realize that in a connected environment, people don't just watch that 30-minute episode. They have the ability to engage more with the content if they like the content. So if I just finished watching an episode of Heroes, I'm in the mindset of Heroes. If they'll give me the option to watch commentary or interviews or more details about the next episode or webisodes, I mean, there's a lot more that I may be willing to consume around that content, and also additional advertising opportunities and monetization opportunities given the chance. But right now, it seems like everybody's treating it like you're still connected to the set-top box and a traditional channel, and somebody just watched the show, and that's the end of the monetization potential. So I think we're just at the beginning. Obviously, if the audiences are going to turn, their advertisers are going to become more innovative.
Great, thank you. Brian?
If you look at what's happening on YouTube right now as some sort of very large example of what's happening from a user behavior perspective, you have a site that was built primarily around shorter form, user-generated content, or at least that's the larger perception. There's obviously, if you don't know that, an enormous amount of premium content that's also on the site from thousands of partners, record labels, sports leagues, traditional content creators. But it's been primarily short-form content. And as a result, a lot of the advertising that has been built around that has to kind of be tailored towards a short-form experience. So, the experience was built around that short-form component, the short-form background. But what we found is that as more and more people have come there and spent more and more time there, people would like to have as much of their experience in one place as they can. Avner mentions that, extend the experience. In the case of YouTube, extend the experience with more content. So with our, recent full-blown announcements of long-form content, we're seeing, in fact, behavior where individuals will spend time watching the longer shows in addition to the shorter pieces that are there, and invest time in the marketing messages that are associated with that. So that seems pretty obvious, but we've had to introduce different ad units for each of the types of videos that you see, long form versus short form. But really, I think the Fred starts to raise the interesting questions for us, right? Because Fred is programming unlike programming that we've known to date. It's short form by definition, but you can find all of his episodes on his channel, so you can have an extended Fred experience. Or a teen can have an extended Fred experience. And then we have to build out multiple touch points for marketers to leverage that, both when viewing the short form episodes and the extended Fred content that may exist or does exist on his channel. So the marketer has to think about what kind of units can they take and use there and hopefully create to use there. Because as you said, if they just take a TV spot to our long form video, that'll work fine, right? Because You'll see a TV spot in a TV show on YouTube, and everyone's used to that. But are you really leveraging the programming and the platform in a way that you can? On Fred, you can. We're starting to take the 21st century version of product placement and brand integration to a new level, because we have programming that is very specifically created for an environment like YouTube. And now the creative folks have to figure out, how do we leverage that for our client or for our product or for our brand? It's going to be very, very different. And it has to be done in a way that drives sales, but also doesn't turn off the audience in any significant way. So we're starting to see folks like Fred, and there are many of them on YouTube, start to redefine that model. Initially with your question, you stated chicken and the egg. You know, does anybody want to watch Fred, or does anybody want to talk about Fred? Well, the answer is, with 1 million subscribers, they want to watch him. But what interestingly happens is, in the YouTube experience, which is very powerful, is it may or may not be sticking around to watch outtakes or commentary. It could be, it becomes the concept of sharing and rating and forwarding. So the whole concept of sharing now becomes a key component of the video experience online, which is not just that I have watched it, but now I want to find others who have watched it and share my experiences of that with them, or forward it to others who would be interested in it, because we share other like tastes and other similar viewing habits, and engage them, which of course is a monumental opportunity that's passed along to the marketer. You know, we have a number of success stories where we show videos being copied, derivative versions being created around not just content, but advertiser content, ads. And that gets an enormous amount of additional traffic and viewership for brands because of that whole new sharing is viewing concept in a community video environment like a YouTube. Not limited to YouTube, but clearly a primary example of that.
Mm-hmm. Very good, thank you. Lisa, behavior?
We're spending a lot of time with the data and really trying to understand what consumers are doing on our site. And I think some of the insights, you know, in 2 minutes, the top line, if you will. One of the assumptions that we made about a year ago was that, you know, there's this visual, a day in the life of a sports fan, where you're at home, you're watching Monday Night Football, you've got your computer screen up, and you're accessing, you know, content about that game on your lap. At the same time, you guys know this visual. You've got the mobile device accessing, and so this picture of simultaneous usage happening, where it's all things sports all the time, every second of the day. Well, what we found out is, shocker, that's not actually, you know, the case. And we've been working closely with Nielsen on a partnership that really helps us now understand, you know, some of the insights that came out of that study, that ongoing study, is each medium plays a very specific role in the life of a consumer. And so daytime for us is prime time. And what we've seen is this enormous uptick of engagement with sports fans from a video standpoint during the day. We've also seen on the weekends mobile take an enormous share in terms of access to that content. And so as programmers, as owners of content and also relationships with our fans, building really smart programming strategies that align with consumer behavior is critical. And the ad formats and the delivery mechanisms, I think, follow, right? You know, on average, our sweet spot for video is a 2-minute highlight, and sometimes less. So serving a 30-second pre-roll in front of a 45-second highlight clip is probably not the right user experience. You know, so that really speaks to short form. When we think about another behavior that we're starting to spend a lot of time looking at is live events. And so that caters to a very different environment where we've got fans spending 90 minutes with us at a time, whether it's through a Gamecast application or ESPN 360, which is our live events platform. That creates another unique advertising opportunity and platform. And then original programming, which is some of the things you've seen in our examples like Kenny Mayne. But it's really about what are we presenting to fans